Welcome back to my backyard snack yard. We are in the beginning of September now, the very first days, and I need to start thinking about overwintering these wonderful Physalis plants. I so love them. They are so delicious. The berries just keep coming and they are so tropical. They have these wonderful flavors of, I would say, sort of a bit of citrus in there, a bit of pineapple. What else is in there? It's just a really, really tropical, sweet flavor pop, burst of flavor. We eat them in salads and just as they are too. They are so great, but they are very cold sensitive, so I do need to think about bringing them inside. And what I find is that they're easy to grow from seed, but they take quite a while to get started. So if I'd grown any of these from seed, which I haven't, then they would be just starting to fruit now, whereas if you bring them inside, keep them going, they will fruit all winter and then just carry on and do even better in the summer, of course, when the sun is hottest and they can go outside and just take off. They did actually quite take over my living room, the biggest plant. This is, in fact, a few cuttings from when I had to prune my huge plant that I overwintered this year. And as you can see, I mean, even the cuttings start fruiting really quickly because they are so mature. But the main thing I want to show you this year, or right now, is that I had grown some from seed last year, and these are the ones that I then kept going all winter, because the ones outside, I like to plant them outside, died when the frost came, and it was quite early last year, so I think they died around, I would say, November, so they only had like just over a month to fruit for me. But then just about a month ago or so, I saw something exciting. It has surprised me by suddenly sprouting back from the roots. So the roots must have survived. I did try to cover them, but you know, then all the plants just completely died, and I thought that was it, but no, it's not. There they are, springing back. This is also why they're known as perennials in warmer parts of the world, or even as weeds too. So really exciting. You can see that it is from the base. They've come back. It's not as if they've come back from a seed or anything like that, but I mean, it's fun to see that they did come back, but they're far too late. They're not going to flower or fruit this year, and I think they will probably just die. And I might try to protect them, but I have so many. So what I'm going to do is, in the next month or so, I'm going to decide which one I'm going to take inside, and then have to cut my losses with the others because there's nothing to do. Here's the crazy guy that I overwintered. The winter just gone, last winter, and he has just grown so big. Oh my goodness. I mean, I wouldn't usually want to keep him in the smallish pot that I had him in, but he's been okay, and he just keeps on fruiting, and he fruits super abundantly, so it just worked really well. I have also cut him back lots, giving lots of cuttings away because you can with these guys. They're so amazing, and they keep on shooting out more and more from the roots and side branches, which then flower immediately. It's just crazy. The reason I have these ugly water bottles in there is because when we went away, I filled them up with water so they could sort of self-water a bit, because they really are so thirsty, especially because he's in such a small pot. It really does dry out really fast. But yeah, he has done so well. So even if you just have a small pot, let me just measure the pot, because someone did actually request that I start doing that, and it's a really good point. So I'm going to get my little measuring rod. Okay, so he's 13 inches in diameter by, let's see here, well, just about 10 inches, isn't he? 10 inches tall. Yeah, so I mean, a small pot, much smaller than you would think a huge, enormous plant like this would like. So what I do is, which I do anyhow with smaller ones too, is I feed him weekly with a seaweed feed, one that I use for tomatoes. These guys are related to tomatoes, so I just treat them like tomatoes and give them that, and it does seem to keep them going. It's been getting really cold now, and I do think he's also dried out a bit, so every so often he has these yellow leaves, and I just remove them because the plant could also, it just gets so full of foliage. But it's a really attractive plant, and I think it's such a good one to grow, and especially if you live in a colder climate, it's just so important just to take a few little ones in. I mean, what I would do is probably just take like a little guy like this, or some nice thick branches like this. I can do it in a month's time. I'll do it again, but I think I'm going to keep one of the ones I already have going. But like, okay, so if you have like a branch like this, yeah, this one would be ideal to cut right about here, and then keep like, maybe make it larger than a pencil size, I would say. That's the kind of cutting I would like, and it would be ideal just to get him into some soil directly. He'll root immediately. They're such good rooters. They're like tomatoes in that as well, in that they've got these little tiny hairs on the stems, which you can't really see, I guess, but they do have them. They're there, and that just means that they're able to start rooting as soon as they get into contact with soil. And so that's why they like to sprawl all over the ground, because then as soon as that stem hits the soil, they shoot out roots and they just get bigger and bigger. And that's why I like to tie them up too. They could get a lot more sprawly, but I just tie them up to all kinds of sticks and anything to support them and keep them upright, which is why they get like this, enormous. But they are such fun. Definitely, I would highly recommend them. Usually they fall off when they're ripe, and then you get these beauties here that are just so sweet and so delicious. It's like a little lollipop there, safely inside that casing, that pretty casing that they have, like a little Chinese lantern. Oh, I am so crazy about them. And yes, definitely highly recommend to try growing them and overwintering them, because then you get so much more. You get such a longer season. You get a continuous season rather than having to start all over again and have that really slow start with them. So just a little bit about these wonderful plants. I'm going to pick a few more and have them inside. But yeah, having them on this kind of surface, actually, in a pot, is ideal, because then when they fall down, you can just collect the little berries without them being ruined or dirty. But I love the fact that they're covered as well with that protective casing, because then they don't get soiled or damaged, and they don't get attacked by bugs either. They're just really, really great plants. So hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you're thinking. I have made quite a few videos on this, but I just thought it was fun to show you another update and also show you how they did come back from the roots. So they are really, really, you know, resilient and desperate to survive and grow and thrive, and they're so wonderful. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.